at my grave. Chapter 8.
Reed walked up, standing in the small yard, arms lifted in the air, looking anger and confusion on his face. "What am I doing here?" Reed questioned, frowning. "You disappeared. I was looking all night for you. You left and didn't tell anyone," Reed continued on. "If you want to know where I was, you should have taken me home," Arden responded, folding his arms. Reed put his head down with a shake and a chuckle. "You are unbelievable. You can't just bail like that when you want to," Reed told him. "If you don't want that happening, don't take me to some awful club and leave me next time, okay?" Arden suggested with a smarmy tone, although a tiny bit of confusion swam in his brain. Reed couldn't have been looking all night for him. "You always talk about other people being irresponsible, and look at you, you're acting like a brat. You left in a huff and missed my concert for what?" Reed scolded him. "That wasn't a real concert. That was a bunch of drunk idiots dancing to cheap music," Arden replied. Reed looked away, clicking his teeth. "This isn't even worth it. Grow up, Arden," Reed said, tone getting more serious now. "What, you're upset about what I said? It's true. All you do is waste your time on that band. And you have the nerve to come and try to yell at me about what I did? You grow up," Arden yelled back, voice getting a bit louder. "For someone labeled as such an outcast weirdo, it's really rich hearing that from you," Reed replied. They were both getting under each other's skin, digging deeper and deeper as tensions got higher. Having a hobby that other people don't like is a lot different from being a failure. You supposedly live on your own, but you still come home to get handouts. "Who's really least likely to succeed?" Arden questioned bitterly with a tilt of his head. Thunder sounded loudly, but neither of them flinched, eyes too locked on each other. "You have no idea what you're talking about. You've always had a problem with speaking on things you don't understand. It's time for you to shut up and take a look at the world around you for once," Reed retorted. Anger in his voice was clear because of how serious he sounded. Arden had hardly heard him sound so serious before. Though Reed didn't shout it, the message still came across clearly. "I've had a good look. You're just angry because you can't handle your own attitude. This is how you act. Sucks, doesn't it?" Arden asked with a taunting tone. "How I act towards you? I supported you. I was there all your little acts at school. You walked out on my concert," Reed yelled back, brows furrowing. Irritation was there, but his words held a hint of disappointment. "I didn't want you there," Arden shouted, body tensing up as the words kept flowing out. "Things were bad enough. You being there just made it worse," Arden spat with disdain. Reed moved back slightly, the frown still on his face. He didn't speak for a moment, almost like he was waiting for something, but he soon moved past it. "You don't want me there?" Reed scoffed in disbelief. He grabbed some crumpled paper out of his pocket. Arden watched as he did so. Lightning flashed again, highlighting Reed's features briefly. "Why did you invite me to your graduation then?" Reed questioned. His face showed the satisfaction of the assumption that Arden was bluffing. "You really think I'd invite you?" Arden questioned bitterly, stepping closer. He snarled before speaking again. "You're more of an idiot than I thought you were. I didn't want you there in the past, and I don't want you here now. Mom invited you. She probably invited you to every other event, because it sure wasn't me," Arden finished nastily. Reed scrunched the paper back in his hand. You know what, Arden? I've done a lot. Other people have done a lot for you. You need to realize everything doesn't revolve around you. There's so much more happening than you know. Stop being a brat. Stop feeling so sorry for yourself all the time," Reed told him, almost with gritted teeth. Arden just scoffed with a shrug. He didn't expect Reed to go further like he had, but he didn't care. He wanted to get it in the open. "If you'd stop being so full of yourself, maybe you could acknowledge the world around you," Reed said. Thunder sounded off again before Arden could speak. Rain began drizzling down now, wind gusts coming in roughly. Arden and Reed glared at each other. The playful teasing or otherwise mollifying they'd done had taken another level of what they said, but Arden wasn't about to back down now. "Don't worry about me or how I see the world. I don't need to hear any of that from you," Arden started again, wiping the rain off his face quickly. "I didn't need you before. I don't need you at graduation. I don't want you in my life," Arden proclaimed harshly, as he got into his brother's face. Reed didn't speak, the rain pulling his hair down now as he stared at Arden. He took in a breath before sticking up his middle finger towards him. So close he could almost touch his forehead if either of them moved an inch. Arden scoffed in annoyance. Typical Reed. He roughly shoved Reed's hand out of his face before using his other hand to smack Reed across his cheek. The sound of Reed's wet face getting hit reverberated out loudly through the night. Arden was breathing hard now, riled up even more. He didn't really move in anticipation of a hit coming back to him. He wasn't sure what would happen, really. He and Reed fought verbally before. They wrestled around when they were younger, or even gave each other playful hits. But they never hit each other like that. Never a hit in the face. Arden wasn't the strongest, but he knew he put a lot into that hit. His hand was still burning from it. Reed kept his head to the side he was hit at, his wet veins in front of his eyes. Arden could see the red, throbbing mark on Reed's face while he turned away and walked towards his car. He didn't say another word before driving off. Arden stood there, breathing heavy. He watched him leave, almost frozen there, with the cold wind blowing on his damp body and clothes, reminding him to go back inside. He walked back in, just as thunder rumbled outside again. He didn't slam the door this time, just closing it quietly. He silently got himself dried, putting on fresh nightwear, and then got into bed, his adrenaline still pumping.